The State Route 71 Blackbird is one of the most legendary aircraft ever built, a machine that seemed to come straight out of the future even though it first flew in the 1960s. When people talk about the greatest achievements in aviation history, the Blackbird is always near the top of the list. It was designed during the height of the Cold War, a time when information was one of the most valuable weapons on Earth. Nations wanted to know what their rivals were doing, and they needed aircraft capable of gathering intelligence without being intercepted. The answer was a sleek, black, incredibly fast reconnaissance aircraft that would push the limits of engineering and become an icon of aerospace innovation. The story begins in the late 1950s when military planners realized that traditional reconnaissance aircraft were becoming increasingly vulnerable to advanced missile systems. The need for a new kind of aircraft was urgent. It had to fly higher than enemy defenses could reach and faster than enemy fighters could intercept. The challenge was handed to a secret team led by legendary aircraft designer Clarence, Kelly, Johnson and the engineers of the Skunk Works division. Their mission was to create an aircraft unlike anything the world had ever seen. What emerged was a masterpiece of engineering. The State Route 71 Blackbird featured a unique shape that looked futuristic even decades after its introduction. Its long fuselage, sharply pointed nose, and sweeping chines along the sides of the aircraft helped reduce radar visibility while improving stability at extreme speeds. Every line and curve of the aircraft served a purpose. Nothing was added for appearance alone. The design was driven entirely by performance requirements. One of the biggest challenges was heat. Flying faster than 3 times the speed of sound generates enormous friction. At those speeds, the aircraft's surface becomes incredibly hot. Conventional aluminum aircraft structures would simply fail under such conditions. Engineers solved this problem by building most of the Blackbird from titanium. At the time, working with titanium on such a large scale was extremely difficult and expensive. Manufacturing techniques had to be developed from scratch. Yet the effort was worth it because titanium could withstand the extreme temperatures generated during high-speed flight. The heat affected every part of the aircraft. When sitting on the ground, the Blackbird's structure was actually slightly loose. Small gaps existed between panels because engineers knew the aircraft would expand significantly when heated during flight. As the aircraft accelerated to operational speeds, the metal expanded and those gaps closed. Fuel leaks on the ground were common because the fuel tanks were designed to seal properly only after the aircraft reached high temperatures. Ground crews understood this unusual behavior and treated it as completely normal. The Blackbird's engines were another marvel of engineering. The aircraft was powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney J58 engines, among the most advanced jet engines ever created. These engines were capable of producing enormous thrust while operating under conditions that would destroy most other powerplants. At lower speeds they functioned like traditional turbojet engines, but as speed increased, their operation changed dramatically. Much of the airflow bypassed the engine core, allowing the propulsion system to behave almost like a ramjet. This unique arrangement enabled sustained flight at speeds exceeding Mach 3. Starting those engines was an adventure in itself. Ordinary starter motors were not powerful enough. Instead, specialized ground equipment was used to spin the engines up to operating speed. Witnessing a Blackbird engine start was an unforgettable experience, with thunderous noise and immense power signaling the beginning of another mission. The aircraft's fuel was also unusual. Engineers developed a specialized fuel known as JP7. This fuel had a very high flash point, making it less likely to ignite under the extreme temperatures experienced during flight. Because it was so difficult to ignite, a special chemical called triethylborane was used during engine starts and afterburner ignition. Whenever this chemical was injected into the engines, it produced a distinctive green flash, creating one of the most memorable sights associated with Blackbird operations. Flying the State Route 71 required exceptional skill and training. Pilots selected for the program were among the best aviators in the world. They underwent rigorous preparation to handle the unique challenges of operating at extreme altitude and speed. Before each mission, crews wore specialized pressure suits similar to those used by astronauts. At operational altitudes, the atmosphere was so thin that a loss of cabin pressure could be fatal within seconds. The pressure suits provided a vital layer of protection. Inside the cockpit, the environment was unlike anything experienced by pilots of conventional aircraft. The aircraft cruised at altitudes exceeding 80,000 feet, far above commercial airliners and most military aircraft. At those heights, the sky appeared much darker than it does at lower altitudes. Pilots could see the curvature of the Earth stretching across the horizon. It was a view shared by very few people and often described as one of the most breathtaking sights imaginable. Reconnaissance missions were carefully planned and executed. The Blackbird's primary purpose was gathering intelligence, not engaging in combat. Its advanced sensors, cameras, and surveillance equipment could capture detailed information from vast distances. During a mission, the aircraft would follow a predetermined route while collecting enormous amounts of data. This information was then analyzed to provide military and political leaders with critical insights into global events. The aircraft's speed served as its greatest defense. Enemy radar systems could detect the Blackbird, but intercepting it was another matter entirely. Numerous attempts were made by hostile forces to shoot down the aircraft using surface-to-air missiles and fighter aircraft. Yet the Blackbird's remarkable performance consistently allowed it to evade these threats. Pilots often joked that if a missile launch was detected, the standard response was simply to accelerate. Few aircraft in history have possessed such confidence in their own speed. Throughout its operational career, the State Route 71 conducted missions around the world. It gathered intelligence during some of the most tense periods of the Cold War and provided valuable information that influenced strategic decision-making. The aircraft operated near areas of conflict, monitored military activities, and helped maintain awareness of developments in regions where reliable intelligence was difficult to obtain. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Blackbird program was its safety record considering the extreme conditions under which it operated. While accidents did occur, the aircraft demonstrated impressive reliability given its unprecedented performance capabilities. Engineers, pilots, and maintenance crews worked together to ensure each mission was conducted as safely as possible. Maintaining the aircraft was an enormous undertaking. Every flight placed tremendous stress on the airframe and systems. Ground crews performed extensive inspections and maintenance between missions. Specialized tools, procedures, and expertise were required. Many technicians dedicated years of their careers to supporting the Blackbird program, developing a deep understanding of its unique characteristics. The aircraft's appearance contributed significantly to its legendary status. Painted in a distinctive black finish, the Blackbird looked unlike any other aircraft. The dark coating helped dissipate heat generated during high-speed flight while also contributing to its iconic image. Its sleek profile, massive engine nacelles, and futuristic shape captured the imagination of aviation enthusiasts around the world. As technology evolved, new reconnaissance systems began to emerge. Satellites offered the ability to gather intelligence without risking pilots and aircraft. Advances in digital imaging and surveillance capabilities further expanded the options available to military planners. These developments eventually led to discussions about the future of the State Route 71 program. Despite its extraordinary capabilities, the Blackbird was expensive to operate. Maintaining a fleet of highly specialized aircraft required significant resources. Budget pressures and changing strategic priorities ultimately influenced decisions regarding its retirement. Yet many experts argued that no satellite system could fully replace the flexibility and responsiveness provided by a manned reconnaissance aircraft capable of reaching a target area within hours. The aircraft was officially retired multiple times, only to be brought back into service when its unique capabilities were needed again. This unusual history reflected the enduring value of the platform. Whenever new challenges arose, decision-makers often rediscovered the advantages offered by the Blackbird. Over the years, the State Route 71 established numerous records that still inspire admiration. It became one of the fastest air-breathing manned aircraft ever built. Several speed and altitude records set by the aircraft remain unbroken decades later. These achievements stand as a testament to the skill and vision of the engineers who created it. Pilots who flew the Blackbird often describe the experience with a mixture of pride and awe. Operating such an extraordinary machine was both a privilege and a responsibility. Many recount moments when the aircraft's incredible capabilities became vividly apparent, such as watching distant cities pass beneath them in minutes or crossing entire countries at astonishing speed. The aircraft also captured public imagination in a way few military systems ever have. Aviation museums featuring the Blackbird frequently attract large crowds. Visitors stand beneath its enormous wings and marvel at its size, elegance, and technological sophistication. Even people with little interest in aviation recognize the distinctive shape of the state Route 71. Hollywood, documentaries, books, and countless articles have celebrated the aircraft's achievements. It has become a symbol of innovation, determination, and the pursuit of excellence. The Blackbird represents a period in history when engineers were asked to solve seemingly impossible problems and responded with groundbreaking solutions. What makes the state Route 71 especially remarkable is that it achieved its performance using technology developed more than half a century ago. Modern computers, advanced digital design tools, and contemporary manufacturing methods were unavailable during its creation. Engineers relied on slide rules, calculations, wind tunnel testing, and extraordinary ingenuity. Despite these limitations, they produced an aircraft that remains impressive even by modern standards. The Blackbird's legacy extends beyond reconnaissance. Many technologies and engineering principles developed for the program influenced future aerospace projects. Lessons learned from high-speed flight, materials science, propulsion systems, and thermal management contributed to advancements across the aviation industry. The program demonstrated what could be achieved when talented individuals were given ambitious goals and the freedom to innovate. Today, surviving state Route 71 aircraft are preserved in museums across the United States. They serve as reminders of an era defined by technological competition and extraordinary achievements. Visitors who see these aircraft in person often find themselves amazed by the sheer scale of the machine and the realization that it routinely operated under conditions few other aircraft could survive. Even decades after its retirement, discussions about high-speed reconnaissance frequently include comparisons to the Blackbird. New technologies continue to emerge, but the state Route 71 remains the benchmark against which many advanced aircraft are measured. Its combination of speed, altitude, endurance, and reliability created a standard that has proven difficult to surpass. The story of the Blackbird is ultimately a story of human ingenuity. Faced with unprecedented challenges, engineers, pilots, technicians, and support personnel came together to create something extraordinary. They pushed the boundaries of science and engineering, transforming ambitious ideas into operational reality. The result was an aircraft that not only fulfilled its mission but also became one of the most celebrated achievements in aviation history. When the state Route 71 accelerated across the sky at more than 3 times the speed of sound, it represented far more than a reconnaissance platform. It symbolized innovation, courage, and the relentless pursuit of technological excellence. Its missions helped shape history, its records inspired generations, and its legacy continues to influence aerospace development today. More than half a century after its first flight, the Blackbird remains a source of fascination and admiration. Few aircraft have achieved such legendary status. Fewer still have maintained that reputation for so many decades. The state Route 71 Blackbird stands as a timeless reminder that with vision, determination, and exceptional engineering, humanity can accomplish feats that once seemed impossible. It remains one of the greatest aircraft ever built, a true icon of aviation whose story will continue to inspire future generations for many years to come.